One of the other things that is in the news right now, I'm glad it's in the news, I think it's going to be a campaign issue, is the Keystone Pipeline. And Keystone Pipeline, as you know, the president not being approved, the president said, we're going to postpone this for a while. Very interesting that it was postponed. At the same time, billionaire Democrat Tom Steyer, I think his last name, said, well, he believes he wants every Democrat in the country to swear an allegiance to global warming agenda, period. And he wanted the president, he threatened the president, not directly, but threatened the president or the Republican or Democratic Party that he was going to withhold $100 million worth of campaign contributions if the Keystone Pipeline went ahead and went through. So I wonder why it didn't get approved. But it's interesting because I talked earlier about the president losing the young vote. It's obvious that he's losing the young vote, and it's going to be obviously why when we see the unemployment rate among young people continue to go up as their debt hits all-time record highs. We've got just over $1 trillion of student loan debt. And right now, over $1 trillion, that has more than doubled since 2005. Now, you remember in the presidential race, back in 2008, the president campaigned on this idea that he was going to make credit available to everybody, more student loans available, and was going to make it easier for students to pay those loans with lower tuitions and so on and so forth. All of that was a lie and never happened. Students don't forget that. Not to mention, here we are 6 years later, and a whole bunch of those students have graduated and can't get jobs. So, needless to say, he's losing something there. And now the Keystone Pipeline has a number of people up in arms, once again postponed in order to get $100 million. And this is, I guess, Harry Reid would call this guy a patriot after saying that the Koch brothers, saying that they're just a political right arm of the Republican Party and all that. But I guess this, Tom Steyer, no, he's not. He's okay. He's a patriot. But anyway, you've got these. It was interesting. The Washington Post had an article that said basically you've got these delusional environmentalists that think that if there's no pipeline, then there won't be any oil coming from Canada. And that's going to help global warming. Because if there's no pipeline, there's not going to be any oil. That's how they think. Delusional. That's an understatement. Of course, the oil is going to get pumped and the oil is going to get burnt. And it's either going to get burnt because we're loading it onto trains and taking it to Oklahoma and Texas, or we're sending it to China. One way or another, gets in the atmosphere. They're not going to just leave it into the sands of Canada for all of eternity. It's ridiculous. But anyway, that's what, so the labor union president, labor unions, I was beginning to say, lost the young people, now labor unions, and the president of the Labor's International Union of North America, Terry O'Sullivan, called the delay, quote, another gutless move. Another gutless move by the administration. So, he's got labor unions, but he doesn't care about labor unions. He cares about one guy that's got billions of dollars. That's what he cares about. That's a sold-out liberal and believes that, he alone is going to make sure that he saves the world from global warming.